Welcome, and thank you for joining us today as we discuss supporting at-home reading. We know this is a busy time for all of us, and we appreciate you making time for this session. The MNPS Literacy Department, led by our directors, Aaliyah Washington Smith, and myself, Courtney, is devoted to supporting students from kindergarten through graduation. Likewise, we're equally devoted to supporting families, parents, and guardians who'd like to learn more new ways of guiding their child from home. We hope this presentation offers you some helpful tips for supporting the literacy development of your child or teenager. So why is it important to support reading at home? It's very important both at school and at home, and it's widely believed that academic reading and reading for pleasure both work together to help make students more successful in school. Parents can make a big difference in the lives of their children by supporting reading at home. It's never too early or too late to focus on reading at your home. Some of the benefits of reading at home are learning about new things together. So students, of course, are going to school and learning lots of new things, but they're also learning a lot at home while with you. So it's a great way to learn together and talk about the things that you're reading, watching, or seeing on TV. Unlock understanding of the community, local, national, and the world. So again, it's a busy time. There's a lot happening. So reading together and talking through things at home are a way to help our students understand more about their own community, the world, and your family. Share ideas, information, and feelings. So of course, we are sharing lots of ideas and information and also helping our students process through how they're feeling about what they are reading, seeing, or hearing. And developing important ideas in the English language arts classroom. So reading and talking about things helps students develop these ideas, which they then supports their learning in school as well. And for focusing precise reading a text to gain a deeper reading. Precise reading meaning looking directly at what's in the text and helping students make sense of the words and ideas in that text. And looking back at a text to support a claim or something that they feel or think, an idea or an answer to a question. So if a student comes out and has an opinion or states something, it's great to push them back into the text and say, where did you read that in here? Or where do you see that? What makes you think that? So having them use the text to support their ideas. And then if they're reading a novel, discussing and sharing new ideas or thoughts about a text. These are all great things to work together to support reading at home, which again will then help support students reading in school. So why is it so hard for some of our students to read? And if your child is having a hard time reading, as a parent, you might be wondering why and what you can do to help. There are many reasons why our children experience challenges in reading. Some of them include having difficulty making sense of letters, especially for our younger students who are just learning about letters and words on a page, pronouncing the words, so not just being able to read it, but knowing what it may sound like, and then comprehending or understanding what they read. And this is true for students at any age, right? So if we're reading something, just because we're able to read the words on the page doesn't mean we necessarily understand it. Some students might have disabilities that makes reading even more challenging, and so it's another hurdle to overcome. And they'll need to be provided with some very specific strategies that will help them better understand what they read. And some students just need more experience in literacy to have positive feelings. So if they didn't have previously positive experiences, they might just need to be exposed to something new or different and then associate positivity with that activity. And some students may be reading in a language that's not their first language. And of course, that would be very difficult. But recognize that reading in any language also supports reading in English. So helping students understand that if you're reading in a different language, that will help them. So what does success look like in an English language arts or ELA class? And how is that connected to students' social and emotional well-being as well? Just like you, we want your child to be successful in school and especially in their English language arts class. With the right supports from your child's teacher and partnership with you from home, you should see your child finding success in many different areas of English language arts. For example, solving problems, building community, managing lots of different information, working in groups, which certainly is harder at home if your student's working only virtually, but helping them understand how to work with different people and different peers in their class. Exploring thoughts and new ideas, building those communication skills and helping students be able to put into words what they need or how they feel, and understanding language and responding both verbally and in writing. And if you look at this graphic on the right, you'll notice that on the very outside band, you'll see that homes and communities, really you, are the overarching factor, because no matter what grade your student is in, you are the constant in their lives. And then the schools and classrooms filter down from that. So as your child goes through school, he or she will have many opportunities to practice and get stronger in any of these things. And because your child's social and emotional health is a big focus here in MNPS, teachers at all levels will plan to offer your students opportunities to grow socially and emotionally, as well as academically. So how do I talk to my child about difficult topics in their reading? One of the hardest jobs of parenting is talking to your child about difficult topics in life, and school is no different. Sometimes it can be hard for children to make sense of what they experience in reading, and they may seek answers from you. It's okay to not have all the answers, because none of us really do. When your child is faced with difficult topics in their reading, consider some of these helpful strategies. So first, consider your child's age and development as a guide to start the conversation. So what's an appropriate conversation with, say, a 6-year-old versus a 16-year-old? So consider the age and your own child's development. Encourage an open dialogue. Sometimes just saying to your student, I'm here for you and I'm here to listen, is a very big step to have a back and forth. And admit when you don't know something. It can be an opportunity for both of you to explore and discover the answer together, or really just helping your students know, what do you do when you don't know the answer to something? That helps them develop some personal strategies that will work for them. Consider your child's sensitivities, their temperament, their life experiences, and any other individual traits. You know your child better than anybody else. And so think about what will work for your child during these discussions and what are their needs. And this is a great opportunity to share values that are important to you and your family. So in these discussions, help students make sense of concrete examples, right? Things that they're actually reading about, seeing or hearing, and how that can relate to your family's values. And remember that any attempt you make to help your child make sense of difficult topics is a good thing. Sometimes just having an open and safe place for your child to ask questions about what they're reading in school is really the best first step to help them. So what else can I do? Kids reading is something to get excited about. When your child's interested in reading, they may find topics or authors that they love to know more about. Even if your child hasn't shown that they're head over heels in love with reading, there are some helpful things to do that you might try to help them at home on their reading journey. So, for example, make reading a regular activity in your home. That could be anything from a grocery list to an advertisement to comic books, magazines, books, stories, anything really, and read those things together. So make it both a regular activity that happens in a multitude of settings, right? And read it together. Substitute reading or even just discussion and talking for TV or other technology. So maybe sub out some of those video games and TV watching to sit down and talk about a book, or just have a discussion about something that you've seen or heard together that day. Express thoughts about the world around you. So really helping students verbalize and develop that oral vocabulary, especially for our younger students. Talking is the first place where students begin to hear and learn concepts. And so the more that we can talk to them and help them express their thoughts, it's really helpful to developing their background knowledge and the many things that they will come across as they go out throughout school, progress throughout school. And engage in discussions. Ask questions that require more than a yes/no response. So when your student comes home or ends a session in school and you ask them what they learned and they say, I don't know, or nothing, ask follow-up questions. Well, what did you read and what did you talk about? How did you feel about that? And if they bring something up, even just something as saying, hey, can you tell me more about that? Or where did you see that or hear that? Can you show me? All of those things help students develop their reading and academic vocabulary. And this is great in any language. So biliteracy, or speaking more than one language and reading in more than one language, is a strength. So it doesn't matter which language you're speaking in, because that will ultimately help your students. So read and talk in any language that you speak at home, and that will also help your students. And stay positive. Right? So even if students don't always have the best experience, this is an opportunity to stay positive and offer them more experiences. Remember, any child embraces reading in different ways and at different times. Hopefully, with these strategies and many opportunities to find what they like and want to read more about, you'll find that your child will grow more and more excited about reading on their own. What are some other resources that you can use to help you? So the Homework Hotline is a great resource if your student is struggling at home with some of their learning and you can't find the answers yourself. These other websites, including PBS Learning, Ready Rosie, Storyline, and Get Epic, offer some great opportunities for reading stories, read alouds, or even documentaries. There's all kinds of resources there connected to academics that you and your child can access. The Nashville Public Library, while not completely open, allows students to check out books virtually. And they also partner with your school's librarian. So as students start to come back to school, they should be able to begin checking out books and bringing them home again. Common Sense Media is a great resource to help you know about what some of the topics are in books that they're reading and how to have some of those difficult conversations with your students. So check it out if you want to learn more about what your students are reading and things they might encounter in that reading. And Project Lit is a great organization here in Nashville in our schools that offers opportunities for monthly book clubs with current and novel reading. So students can read new literature that they may connect to differently than they may be connecting to their school reading. And there are great opportunities for them to join in book clubs. If there isn't a Project Lit chapter at your school, check out this page and see if you can get one started. And of course, you may have many more questions. So of course, your first line of defense would be your student's school or teacher, but you can also reach out to any of the educators on this page. We're all available to help you as you support your child. Thank you for being your child's first teacher and our partner to help them achieve new levels of enjoyment in reading and success at home. Have a wonderful afternoon or evening. Thank you very much for joining us here today.